Outside the museum is a large parking area where self-contained RVs can stay overnight. Entry to the museum is free, and part of the entrance building houses some interesting historic items. Here you will find an old electric tram that used to transport people between Leonora and Gwalia. It was restored by Stephen Peacock in 2014. There's also a 1927 Chevrolet hearse and a 1935 International truck that was used as cartage and mail truck by the Dietz family. Directly behind the entrance building is a fine example of a locomotive used on the wood lines in the goldfields. Wood was second in importance only to water when it came to extracting gold, and huge quantities were needed. To bring the wood into the mining centres, a number of train lines were constructed out into the areas where the trees could be felled. This locomotive was originally called Ken by the workers, but the company changed its name to Midland, indicating the place it was constructed. A little further up the hill is the winder engine shed. The winder engine was built by Fraser and Chalmers in 1912 and is the only one of its type left in Australia, and the only one of 3 such engines remaining in the world. The next point of interest is the assay building. Here, metallurgists would determine the quantity of gold being recovered from mining operations. Then there's the old mining office that has been beautifully restored. The central feature of this building is a huge walk-in safe where the precious gold was once kept. Hoover House is the main attraction in the mining complex. The house owes its existence to Herbert Hoover, later President Hoover of the USA, who originally designed the building in 1897. Hoover started work as Mining Superintendent at the Sons of Gwalia Mine on May 1, 1898. However, he was involved in an outright feud with his immediate boss, and to settle the situation, the company he worked for, Bewick Moreing and Co, promoted Hoover and transferred him to China in 1898. He was transferred before the house and other buildings were completed, so his stay at Gwalia was actually quite short. When the Sons of Gwalia Mine closed down in 1963, Western Mining Co took over the leases. Don Reed was a geologist working for the company, and his wife Donna recognised the historic importance of the old settlement at Gwalia and of Hoover House. It was largely Donna Reed who saved the shacks at Gwalia from demolition. The Reeds lived in Hoover House from 1970 to 1980, and it was in their honour that the Reed Room was named. The room also provided accommodation for people such as Sir John Forrest and other dignitaries who visited the town. The Reeds returned to Hoover House in 2018 to see for themselves what their foresight and hard work had left for others to appreciate. Sadly, tragedy struck in 2021 when their home in the Adelaide Hills was destroyed by fire. Don passed away in September 2022. The Lawler Room was named in honour of Peter and Chris Lawler. They re-established mining here in 1983 and did a great deal to assist the museum in its early days. The wardrobe, tallboy and fireplace in this room are all original items. The museum first opened its doors in 1972 as a gallery in the mining office. When the Reeds left in 1980, Western Mining employed caretakers to look after the site, and volunteers were organised to keep the museum open. It took some time for visitors to discover the museum, but by the 1980s, numbers were steadily increasing. The headframe and winder were relocated, and some miners' camps were brought in from outlying areas where they would have been swallowed up by open-cut mining. In 1995, the local tourist committee sold rights to restore the old miners' cottages. Over 100 people got involved in the project, and the restoration attempted to keep things as close as possible to their original condition. In the year 2000, the winder room was destroyed by a willy-willy and had to be rebuilt. A manager was appointed in 2001, and in the same year, Hoover House opened as a bed and breakfast. Also in 2001, the Leonora Gwalia Historical Museum Limited was set up by the Lawler brothers in order to give the museum more stability and to allow it to obtain charitable status. In 2010, the Shire of Leonora took over ownership and management of the Gwalia Museum.